She fell in love with the man who destroyed her family. The night she met him, the wind carried the smell of smoke and rain, and the ground beyond Raven's Hollow was still stained with blood from a gunfight no one wanted to talk about. Eliza Hart stood alone on her porch, lantern shaking in her hand, listening to the distant howl of coyotes. She did not know that her life was about to fracture into a before and an after, or that love would arrive dressed as danger. Raven's Hollow was a town built on caution. People locked their doors early and spoke softly of the past. It was a place where grief lingered longer than joy, and justice was supposed to be simple. Eliza had been raised to believe that the law protected the innocent and punished the guilty, because her father, Sheriff Thomas Hart, had devoted his life to that belief. He was respected, feared, and trusted. To Eliza, he was steady and unbreakable, the kind of man who could hold the world together through sheer will. Eliza, however, was restless. At 24, she felt trapped between duty and desire, between the town that raised her and the dreams she barely dared to name. She wanted to see more than dust and shadows. She wanted a life that belonged to her. That longing made her hesitate when she saw a man collapse near her gate. He fell hard, gasping, one hand clutching his side. Blood soaked through his coat, dark and thick. Eliza froze, fear rooting her to the spot. Then he looked up at her, eyes sharp with pain and desperation. "Please," he whispered. "I don't have anywhere else to go." She should have screamed. She should have run for her father. Instead, something broke open inside her. Against reason, against everything she had been taught, she dragged him inside her home and locked the door. His name was Caleb Reed. He spoke little at first, feverish and weak. Eliza cleaned his wound with shaking hands, praying it wasn't fatal. As the days passed, he slowly recovered. He thanked her with quiet sincerity, never demanding more than she offered. Outside, the town simmered. The Black Hollow Outlaw had become a legend and a nightmare. Trains robbed, supply wagons burned, men dead. Sheriff Hart led the search with relentless determination. Each evening, he came home exhausted, his jaw tight, speaking of justice and duty. Eliza listened, her heart pounding, never realizing the man her father hunted slept beneath her roof. As Caleb healed, walls came down. He smiled easily, laughed softly, and spoke of the road like it was a promise instead of a threat. He helped around the house, fixing broken boards, mending tools. At night, they sat by candlelight, sharing stories. Eliza felt alive in a way she never had before. He didn't see her as the sheriff's daughter. He saw her as a woman with a voice. She fell in love quietly, dangerously. But love does not erase truth. Caleb flinched at the sound of horses. He avoided mirrors. He carried guilt like a second skin. Eliza sensed his pain but mistook it for past heartbreak instead of violence. The truth shattered her one fog-choked morning. Sheriff Hart stood in the yard with armed deputies. His eyes were heavy with disappointment and grief. "You've been sheltering him," he said. "The outlaw." Eliza's knees nearly gave out. The pieces slammed together too fast to deny. Caleb's wound, his fear, his silence. "He's not what you think," she said, tears burning her eyes. Her father lowered his gun. "Neither are you, it seems." That night, Caleb ran. Eliza did not follow. Love had collided with loyalty, and both were bleeding. The town tightened its grip. Fear turned into rage. The hunt grew crueler. Eliza withdrew into herself, haunted by the man she loved and the lives he had hurt. She questioned the simplicity of justice she had been raised on. Was a man defined only by his worst acts? Or by the choices he made when finally faced with truth? The answer came in gunfire. A tip led the sheriff into Black Hollow Pass. It was a trap. Shots echoed through the rocks. Eliza heard before she saw, her heart pulling her forward despite reason. She arrived to find chaos. Her father was down, wounded. Deputies scattered. And there stood Caleb, gun raised, eyes wild. Then he saw her. Something in him broke. He stepped between the guns aimed at her father and lowered his weapon. "I never wanted to become this," he said. "I just wanted to survive." Eliza stepped forward, voice trembling. "Then choose something better. Even now." For a long moment, the world waited. Then Caleb dropped his gun. He was arrested without resistance. The truth came out slowly. He had been framed once, hunted until desperation hardened him. Each crime pushed him further from redemption, until love showed him what he had lost. Justice was not simple. Caleb paid for his crimes. But he did not die as an outlaw. Raven's Hollow healed slowly. Sheriff Hart walked with a limp now, wiser and quieter. Eliza stayed, stronger for having loved and lost. She learned that good and evil rarely wear clear faces, and that courage sometimes means letting go. Love did not save the outlaw, but it saved his soul. And Eliza finally understood that freedom begins when we choose honesty, even when it costs us everything.